Welcome back to Timeless Sagas, my fellow history enthusiasts. Today, we're going to travel through the kaleidoscope of history and explore the fascinating world of psychedelic drugs. So sit back, relax, and let's take a trip together, shall we? Psychedelics have been used by various cultures throughout history for spiritual, medicinal, and recreational purposes. The term psychedelic itself comes from the Greek words psyche, meaning mind or soul, and delos, meaning to manifest or to reveal. So, in essence, these substances have the power to reveal the true nature of our minds and the world around us. Let's start our journey with the most famous psychedelic of all time, LSD, or lysergic acid diethylamide. It was first synthesized in 1938 by Swiss chemist Albert Hofmann, who was trying to find a new drug for headaches and migraines. However, it was not until 5 years later, in 1943, that he accidentally discovered its psychedelic properties. While working with the substance, Hofmann accidentally absorbed a small amount through his skin, experiencing an unusual state of consciousness. Intrigued by this, he decided to experiment further and intentionally ingested a larger dose. This led to the first ever intentional LSD trip, which Hofmann documented in detail. He experienced vivid hallucinations, a distorted sense of time, and a profound feeling of connection to the world around him. Now, before we delve deeper into the impact of LSD on society, let's take a step back and explore the history of naturally occurring psychedelics. One of the most ancient and revered psychedelic substances is the Amanita muscaria mushroom, also known as the fly agaric. This red and white spotted mushroom has been used by indigenous Siberian tribes for centuries, and its use can be traced back to the prehistoric era. The fly agaric mushroom was consumed as part of shamanic rituals, during which the shamans would enter altered states of consciousness to communicate with the spirit world. These rituals were essential to the spiritual and social structure of these communities and played a vital role in their understanding of the world. Another ancient psychedelic is the peyote cactus, native to Mexico and the southwestern United States. The use of peyote can be traced back at least 5,000 years to the Native American cultures who revered it as a means of connecting with the divine. Peyote contains the psychoactive compound mescaline, which induces vivid visual and auditory hallucinations, as well as deep introspection and spiritual insight. The use of peyote is still practiced today by the Native American Church, which considers it a sacrament and a way to heal both physical and spiritual ailments. In fact, the battle for the right to use peyote in religious ceremonies was a critical part of the Native American civil rights movement in the 20th century. Now, let's jump forward in time to the 1950s and 60s, a period when psychedelic drugs like LSD, psilocybin mushrooms, and mescaline made their way into mainstream Western culture. This was a time of rapid social change, with the civil rights movement, the sexual revolution, and the anti-war movement all taking shape. Psychedelics played a crucial role in this cultural shift, as they were seen as a way to break free from societal norms, question authority, and explore new realms of consciousness. During this time, the so-called Harvard Psilocybin Project made headlines. This controversial research project was led by psychologists Timothy Leary and Richard Alpert, who later became known as Ram Dass. The project involved administering psilocybin, the active compound in magic mushrooms, to volunteers in controlled settings to study its effects on human consciousness. However, the project was shut down in 1963 due to concerns about the researchers' methods and the growing controversy surrounding psychedelic drugs. Despite this setback, the psychedelic movement continued to gain momentum, and LSD became the drug of choice for many counterculture icons of the 1960s, including Ken Kesey, the Grateful Dead, and even the Beatles. The famous Summer of Love in 1967 saw thousands of young people flocking to San Francisco to celebrate peace, love, and mind-expanding substances. Unfortunately, the widespread use of psychedelics during this time also led to a backlash, as many people experienced bad trips or developed mental health issues as a result of their use. In response to growing concerns about the safety and legality of these substances, the U.S. government passed the Controlled Substances Act in 1970, which classified LSD, psilocybin, mescaline, and other psychedelics as Schedule I drugs. This meant that they were considered to have a high potential for abuse and no accepted medical use, making them illegal to manufacture, distribute, or possess. Despite their illegality, psychedelics continued to be used in underground settings, and their influence on art, music, and culture persisted. However, it wasn't until the 1990s that interest in the therapeutic potential of these substances began to resurface. In recent years, there has been a resurgence of research into the potential benefits of psychedelics for treating mental health disorders such as depression, anxiety, PTSD, and addiction. Promising results from clinical trials have led to a renewed interest in these substances and a growing movement to reevaluate their legal status. This brings us to the present day, where the conversation around psychedelics is shifting from one of fear and misunderstanding to one of curiosity and potential healing. As we continue to unravel the complex history of these powerful substances, let us remember the words of the ancient Greek philosopher Heraclitus, who said, "The only constant in life is change." Thank you for joining me on this mind-expanding journey through the history of psychedelic drugs. If you enjoyed this trip, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Timeless Sagas for more fascinating stories from the past. Until next time, stay curious, my friends.